So when I see Alex Jones doing that, I think, okay, now I know what Alex Jones is about. He is part of the system. And if he was that originally or not, he is now. Okay. I don't know when he became that, or I don't know any of that, but I do know is that that's what he is right now in 2022. He is controlled opposition. He is trying to keep everybody on the same page with the same masters and the same, In Syria, they have a minority that controls the narrative and controls the power and keeps everybody together in their multicultural society. And those people are the Alawites, right? The Alawite Muslims, who the Muslims say they're not Muslims. They're like a sect of Islam and everything. And I have nothing against that because I'm not part of that, And if in some ways, the Alawites keep things together. But in America, we have the same thing. We have an Alawite class too, and those people are called the Jews. So that's my problem with Alex Jones. That him making fun of Nick Fuentes, trying to get on the good side of that side of the world. I mean, that side of the political spectrum. The people that are controlled opposition, basically, means that he is controlled opposition. He's trying to virtue signal to them. Hey, look, I'm making fun of Nick. I know he's a fag. I know he's a fag. You see? And when Alex Jones, and there's another side to this too, but I'm going to get into that. The last part I'm going to get into is how Alex Jones is trying to save face with, how he's trying to save Kanye West. And Gavin McCinnes did this too. Gavin McCinnes, he did this too. Although I actually kind of like Gavin, because Gavin's kind of like, and he doesn't say it, but he is. He's like, I am controlled opposition, and I like being controlled opposition, and I think the world would be better if we're more controlled opposition like me, Gavin McCinnes. And he doesn't say it like that, but I think that's what he's trying to say, And you know what? There's a weird kind of honesty to that. Him as a Generation X guy, and so is Alex Jones. I get it. But McCinnes was doing the same thing. But what does McCinnes say? He says, I'm going to do this interview. And I actually like McCinnes' interview better than I liked Alex Jones. Alex Jones' interview was a clown show. McCinnes' interview was real. It was a good interview. McCinnes basically says at the beginning of the interview, before he goes to the interview with in LA, he says that I'm trying to save Nick and Kanye from being Nazis. And at the end of the video, he cannot, admit that he understands. Look, he understands that what I'm trying to explain to you in this video, and these videos, is that that Kanye West is not a Nazi. He understands that, but he has to play the game. He has to play the narrative, because that he knows where his what side his butter is, his toast is buttered. His bread is buttered, right? I don't know. That's not the term. That's not what the people say. He understands who controls him. He understands who pays his bills, right? So in the end of the day, yeah. But it was a good interview. It was a good interview, and I like Gavin to a certain extent. And too bad he left Vice. Well, I mean, actually, it kind of makes sense where the direction Vice went after he left, because Gavin, in fact, is part of that world. He is a liberal to a certain extent. So, but I mean, I kind of like Gavin McCinnes. He's like, in a way, if you're smart enough, you understand. He's basically saying, yeah, I am controlled opposition, folks. I am controlled opposition, folks, and I enjoy being controlled opposition. And if people just were controlled opposition like me, then, things, unlike the other controlled opposition, then, things would be better, guys, So just, let's all be controlled opposition like Gavin McCinnes. No. I don't think so, Gavin. But, I thought it was a good interview. But the point being is that you can see that these two people, specifically Gavin McInnes, and I'm pretty sure Alex Jones, they know what I'm telling you is true. And they know that Kanye is not a Nazi. They know what Kanye's goal is, and the reality is that they oppose what Kanye is doing. And what is Kanye doing? Kanye is trying to bring down the wall and the power that Jews have over the American society. He's trying to equalize everything for everybody, for Gentiles and for Jews. That's what he's trying to do. At least that's what I think he's trying to do. Okay. So, yeah. And one last thing before I end this video. The question about that I've noticed recently. I've noticed that that Nick actually, the way the narrative is being played out in the media, the mainstream media, and even with Alex Jones in his interview the other day with Crowder, and that narrative is that that Kanye is being used by Nick Fuentes and people around him, and that Kanye actually is either not smart enough to understand because he's an artist, and maybe subliminally, and what they're also trying to throw out to people is that because Kanye is black, he's not smart enough to understand this because he's an artist, and he is black, or okay, and because he's not smart enough to understand this certain thing I'm going to tell you because he's an artist or he is black, he is being used and manipulated by very intelligent but evil people like Nick Fuentes and anybody else who surrounds Nick Fuentes, and the white nationalists who actually don't like Nick Fuentes, who might like him now because the Nazi thing is coming up again and is being hyped up, right? So you see that this is a narrative that the mainstream media has put. From The View, I've seen it from different. I don't watch mainstream media, but sometimes when I do, from other people's shows, I've noticed that this is I've been surprised how people that are on Nick's side don't actually talk about this, because it's actually a very, very big device that they're using, this big narrative they're using, which is Kanye is not the bad guy. He's being used. He's being used by Nick Fuentes. So instead of attacking Kanye West, because I'm going to tell you why they're not attacking Kanye West directly. They're not attacking Kanye West directly because they can't. Because Kanye West he's popular, because his music is going to be forever, and as long as this world exists, I guess. So as long as, the media platforms exist, Kanye's music is going to be known, he's going to be popular, and he's going to be respected to a certain extent. So with that respect, people are going to actually, he has a platform for whatever his views he has. Because in the end of the day, people aren't very smart. People follow what they're told, right? So the people who control our media, the people who control our society, they know that. They use the media and they use platforms for the same reason. So because of that, they know that Kanye has power because of his Kanye's music, because of the archive of his music, right? Because of all that. So because of that, you have a case of basically very interesting thing going on here. Give me a second. This person this might be popping up. Hopefully this person just rides right out of here. I don't know. You have a very interesting aspect that basically, let me see. Keep on going, bro. All right. Okay, so I'm back. So you have a very interesting aspect here that what was I? Okay, about Kanye and all that. You have a very interesting aspect that basically everybody's attacking. They can't go direct action, right? I guess you can say it, against Kanye West. They have to attack the people around him. And they can attack Nick Fuentes. They can destroy Nick Fuentes because Nick Fuentes doesn't have that much clout or power in society. So if they can make it seem like Kanye West is being manipulated or controlled, they hope they can either pervert what Kanye West is doing and at the same time get rid of Nick Fuentes. And or maybe even change Kanye West's mind, views, because if they can make it seem, they can pervert what Kanye West's message, even his followers might actually start believing that Kanye West is being used by this white nationalist. It's not Kanye's fault because they like Kanye West, right? They have a sentimentality towards him based on his music. So they're not going to blame Kanye. They're going to blame Nick Fuentes, and it's Nick Fuentes and his beliefs that are just manipulating Kanye West, and that's actually a very good way to destroy what Kanye West is doing. And let me tell you something: what Kanye West is doing isn't even Nick Fuentes'. Well, I don't know, but I don't think it's Nick Fuentes' modus operandi. Nick Fuentes, I believe, was brought in to what Kanye is doing. This is Kanye West, I believe, who's doing this. This is his own idea, his own view, and Nick is just being very respectful to Kanye West, right? So, yeah, I think that's why they're doing it. So, going back to Alex Jones, I think Alex Jones is basically using what's going on for his own. Let me put it this way. Alex Jones, in this past interview with Crowder, he was actually using the same device, using the same thing the mainstream media is using to attack Kanye West, and specifically to attack Nick Fuentes. So you see, the mainstream media and Alex Jones are doing the same thing.